Everyone, Brother Al McClain with this week's stewardship video. And as always, before we go too far, no advice should be seen as a recommendation or endorsement, as I am not a licensed financial advisor, and this is for educational purposes only. You want to do your own research or use that financial advisor or licensed professional that you may employ. This week's video is inspired by the person you see pictured here, Jeff Austin, or at our church known as Deacon Jeff Austin, and it's called Folded Money. So, what in the world is this all about? You're saying, Al, Brother Al, what folded money? What is that? So you can actually see my wallet there. And by the way, you see a peek of the license. That's not an actual license, but that's something that was given to me, call the freedom to have financial to drive on a financial free highway. So that's not my real license you see there, but you see some folded money there. You see my wallet, and then you see over to the right the full folding of the money. So what is this all about? Well, I was working on a project related to the church with Deacon Jeff Austin, and Jeff, I had made a vow to him to give him a particular amount of money. And I said to him, Jeff, and we were having a text exchange, you better come get this money while I still have it. And he said, well, do what you got to do to keep that money set aside. And I said, well, I'll fold it. Because when I fold it and put it in my wallet, that means it's a designated purpose for that money. So I folded it, put it in my wallet, and he thought I was kidding. I saw him at church, and it was about a month later where I gave the money over to him. And I said, let me show you. I was serious about this. I showed him, see, that money right there is folded. And I showed it to him. That means there's a designated purpose to it. Don't spend that because there is something you have to do with that money. And he said, well, if Sister Janine, which is my wife, the lovely Janine McClain, gets into your wallet, let her know she can take everything except that folded money. And he don't know how true that probably was. But the purpose of it, and it brought to me a scripture, 2 Timothy 1:7 in NIV says, for the spirit God gave us does not make us timid, but gives us power, love, and self-discipline. Now, underline the word self-discipline, because this was a visual illustration to me of this scripture come to life. Back in the day when I was not very disciplined with my money, that folded, first of all, I wouldn't have folded it. It'd been right there to spend. And even if it was folded, if I needed it, felt a desire, I'd take it and use it. So I think as we're transformed in our lives, our money and our habits and our stewardship is also transformed under the sovereign God. Because as we always say, He's the owner, but we're the manager. And 2 Timothy 1:7 talks about that spirit that gives us the ability to have power, love, and self-discipline. So this went on for several weeks that money stayed folded in my wallet, but I never even thought about it because that folded signified to me an illustration that there is something and a purpose for that money. And thank you, Jeff Austin, for inspiring this lesson on folded money. So it also further made me think about the envelope method. And some of you've heard about the envelope cash method, where you take different categories of your money, you pull out an amount from the ATM, and you put it in a cash envelope. So that means that there's a designated purpose for that particular amount that's in that envelope. And if you want to hear more about it, I had brought this up going out to ramseysolutions.com, and this front page there is an area that we talked about last week on paying off credit card debt. Well, how do you find that money to pay off credit card debt? We'll have designated purposes for your money, budgeting, knowing the status of your flocks, if you will. Proverbs 27, verse 23 through 24 says, riches can disappear fast, and the king's crown doesn't stay in his family forever. And here's the area I highlighted. So watch your business interests closely. Know the state of your flocks and your herds. Now, none of us are sheep herders, but our flocks and herds are our money, our cash flow. Where is it going? Where does it come? How much comes in? Where does it go to? So you could go out to RamseySolutions.com. You can click on budget. It goes through all types of information on setting up a budget or spending plan. That's the word I like to use to refer to. And there's even a section that you can type in envelope, and it'll give you an article by Rachel Cruz, which is Dave Ramsey's daughter, called How to Budget by Cash Stuffing Envelopes. So you can find all that by going out to ramsolutions.com. You also can go out a YouTube video and just type in cash envelope method or cash envelopes, and you'll see different YouTube videos out there on how to do that. So again, Proverbs 27, 23, and 24, the last part of that verse says, so watch your business interests closely, know the state of your flocks and your herds. So probably the next couple of videos I'm going to be intermixing with the debt spending plan, debt snowball, and talking about budgeting for the next couple of iterations. So with that, let's transfer over and look at the market. And one of the things you say, hey, I want to invest. Where do I find the money? Well, know the state of your flocks. Find that money that'll give you an opportunity to invest. This is the earnings being reported for the August 26th, week of August 26th. We can see really heavy in consumer area. We got Best Buy, Dell, Lululemon, Dollar Tree. Like last week, it was Target. Before then, it was Walmart. So we get a heavy dose of consumer spending. Kohl's, Foot Locker, all of these are for reporting Five Below, which happens to be also stores that could help you in saving money. Maybe Dollar General, Five Below. We got Campbell's. So all of these are consumer staple type stocks. So the other thing I got to thinking of is what's the price? What's going on for performance so far now that we're 8 months in, almost about to get to September, Labor Day. The next week I'll be making the Labor Day version of the stewardship video, but what's performing well this year so far? So we see overall SPY, the S&P 500 is up 18%. So even with that big, huge dip that was scary a couple of Mondays ago, we're still up 18% for the year. It's in the green, right? Everything actually is in the green. We've moved away a little bit from technology, but look what's out there. We've talked about this before. Utilities, consumer staples is what I was just talking about, reporting, but utilities, XLU, which is the exchange traded fund. So I said, let's look at what's inside of XLU. And I use stockanalysis.com, put in the symbol XLU, and here's the top 10 holdings, right? So you can profit from it being a hot. And here in Texas, 105, 100-degree weather average this week. Also water. A lot of people drinking a lot of water. So these are all in the utilities area, electric, water, all of these are here. So you may look and say, hey, I want to invest in these. Again, this is not recommendations. Disclaimer was just up, not making recommendations, but do your research. So maybe you want to look at utilities as a play. So again, a way to do that could be through Charles Schwab. I encourage everyone. Again, I'm not recommending Charles Schwab, but it's a brokerage. Maybe you like Fidelity, but one of the things that Schwab, I'm just happy to be familiar with, is they have this section called Schwab Investing Themes, where you can go out and there's a theme, and you say there's something that I'm interested in, like here, renewable energy. Now it's down for the year, but you could click on this tile in renewable energy and say, there's maybe some companies that I'm interested in. And so I clicked on that, and this is a screenshot, and it came up utilities was behind that tile of renewable energy. And one of them was Nextra Energy, symbol NEE. The other one was AES. So Nextra Energy, that's $79 a share. You say that may be a little bit rich for my particular budget. But I'm going to show you a way after this screenshot of how you can invest in it using stock slices. So the other one was AES. That was behind there, and it is only like $18 a share. So one of the things that Charles Schwab also offers is a thing called stock slices. Fidelity has it, I think they call it fractional shares, but I'm just familiar with Charles Schwab. Again, not recommending that you use Charles Schwab as a product, but do your own research. But this is one of the things that they offer. So the slices you can do minimum $5 per share. I mean, that's the smallest increment. You could do $5, and these are slices of the share. This is not a full stock share, but it's a slice of it. And I went in their sector. So I went to the utility sector and I found that AES. There it is. You also, if you scroll down, you would find that NEE, Nextra, which we saw also. So here is a way that you can buy slices of these companies in the area of utilities. But you also, there's consumer discretionary. Here's all the different sectors that you can go out and it'll show those different companies. And you can, with as minimal as least amount of $5, you can invest. So as we always do, we close out the stewardship video. Here's QQQ. We had that scary drop. Been a couple of weeks. That was that Monday, but look how much we've already recovered, right? Back running again. There was a meeting that the Fed has every year in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. A lot of us were focused on the DNC Democratic Convention, before then Republican Convention, but not receiving as much press as Jackson Hole. And this may affect our lives daily as consumers even more than what's going on with the political parties. Jackson Hole is where all the economists, the Federal Reserve chairman and presidents meet, Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And there was a speech given by Chairman Powell that talked about it's all but a foregone conclusion that it's going to be a rate cut in September. The matter is how much of a rate cut. Is it going to be a half a point, a quarter point? We don't know, but there's going to be a cut, but we just don't know how much. And based on that, the market kind of started to take off again. All right, here's SPY, same thing. Good, a good amount of buying going on. So we'll again, as always, just watch the market because we don't know. Only the Lord knows the future, as he is omniscient and omnipotent, not only all knowing, but all powerful in what he sees and knows. So that completes this week's stewardship video. As always, these are the different ways you can like and subscribe. You can get on the distribution list. And as we always end our videos by saying Jesus is Lord, therefore he's the owner, but we're his faithful stewards following his principles. As we look at, remember the concept of folded money, he's given us the discipline to follow his principles. So we'll see you next week. And again, thank you, Jeff Olson, for the inspiration of the topic this week.